Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my Godot Behavior Tree and Navigation series. In this video, we're going to be creating a simple 2D scene with some obstacles and 2D nav mesh. If you haven't done the previous videos, that's alright. I have a link in the description with the project zip file. You can just download that and start with that. So let's jump in. Okay. The first thing we're going to do here is add a new tile map with some collisions and navigation 2D mesh. So let's just go over here and click on the plus sign and search for tile map and create a new tile map. After that, let's go over to here and click on tileset. You can see right now it's empty. We're going to create a new one, so click on new tileset and just click on the tileset right here. And that should bring up this window. So you can go into your asset folder and drag in the tile sheet that we downloaded last time and add that in here. And that will create a new tile set for you. Well, actually not really. So this is not in a usable state right now. We need to actually create a new tile set by choosing whether new single tile or auto tile or tile atlas. So in our project right here, we're going to be using a tile atlas, so just click over here and you can see that there's now a region here that pops up, and we can click on this, so this will enable snap and show the grid of the tile size. So you can see these purple grids is now showing up, and we can actually go into, so you can click on these and set up the collisions and navigations, that kind of stuff for your tile sets. But as you can see, right now the grids are probably a little bit too small. So we can go in here and click and change our step size and subtile size. So for our project and for this tile set, we're going to be changing them to 64 times 64, and also change the subtile size to 64 times 64. And let's go back in here. Let's zoom out a little bit, and you can see that it's basically it's including all of our tile sheets here. So we can just drag and select all of these, and this will be our tile set. So now if you go back to your scene by clicking onto your scene, and let's click on tile map here, you can see that a new tile sets has been generated. You can see it here, and you can just pick on whichever tiles that you want to use and kind of like drawing onto your scene like this. And you can also right click to remove them, and just by doing this you can populate your scene with like grass as a background, something like this. But as you can see, our player character is actually being rendered behind the tiles right now. This is because of how Godot is sorting your nodes according to their order. So to fix this, you can just drag the tile map above player character, and now you can see that the player is being rendered in front of the tiles. Let's also move our player for a little bit. So click on player and click on this over here. So this is make sure the object's children are not selectable. So when you're dragging your player around, you're not actually dragging the underlying sprite like what we're doing here. So you can click on player and select this, and you can see that right now you can only drag the parent player node instead of the sprites or the collision shape node inside the player. So we can move this player somewhere over here in the middle of our grass scene. Actually, let's also change our resolution for a little bit. So let's go into project settings and go down to display window. Let's make it a little bit bigger, so something like 960 and 540, and click close. So now our scene is a little bit bigger. You can see that it's kind of hard to see, but there's like a really faded blue line around here that is showing that basically just indicating how large your scene is. Now let's also go into our tile set again and basically add in all the grass. Okay, now we can go ahead and add some collisions to our tiles. Let's click on tile map and tile set to go back to our tile sets. And to add collisions to your tile set is super easy. So first, you might still be in the region tab, but let's just click on collision tab. And to add collisions to your tiles, so I'm going to add collisions to these two wooden tiles right here. You can just click on the tile that you want to add collision to and click on a collision shape. So right now we can just use rectangle and click on that tile again. So that's how you add collision to your tile sets. It's super easy, but by doing, like clicking on the tile set, clicking on the collision shape and clicking back onto the tile set again, that is not extremely efficient, but one way that I think can accelerate the process for a little bit is that you can see that the hotkey for adding a new rectangle is Shift and R. So what you can do is you click on the tile that you want to add collision to and use Shift and R and click on it again. So as you can see, when you click on a new tile, it actually goes back to the selection mode. But once you click Shift plus R, it'll go into the rectangle shape and you can just click on it. And sometimes it'll get stuck in both. This is something that I have witnessed. I'm not really sure if that's intended or not, but you can usually click on Shift plus R again and that should clear that up. And you can just add collisions to your tiles like this. Now let's add some of the wooden boxes that we just add collisions to into our scene and see if our player can collide with it. So let's just drag down here. Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay, so just click on it and let's replace some of the grass tiles with these wooden boxes and let's give that a try. So your character can move around and as you can see, your character can collide with the box with no problem already. So actually, if you have a lot of different characters and a more complicated collision layer and collision mask setup, you probably need to change some of that, but for our project here, this will work fine. Next, we're going to add some navigation mesh to our tile set. So the process is basically the same. Just click on tile set and tile map and click on your tile set. Go back in here, and instead of using collision, we just use navigation over here instead. So the process is basically the same. You can see that all the buttons here are also the same. You can click on it and add a new rectangle shape and click on it again. And by doing that, that is giving it a navigation mesh on that tile. So we can do it exactly how we did it for the collisions. You can click on a tile, click on Shift plus R, and if it doesn't clear up, click on Shift plus R again and click on your tile again, and just by doing that, add in some nav mesh for your 2D tile sets. So in my project, I'm gonna just be using some of the grass tiles. If you're using all the same, you don't even need to add the nav mesh to all of these. You can just add your nav mesh to one of them and just make sure you use that. Okay, so let's go back to our scene, and basically because we don't have any navigation code set up right now, but if we want to see if our nav mesh is actually set up, we can go into our debug menu here and check visible navigation. You can also check visible collision shapes to show the collisions that are in your scene right now. But we're going to click on visible navigation here and let's test your game. So as you can see, nothing really changes. If there are nav meshes on your tiles, you should be able to see some yellowish color on top of your grass, but we don't have it right now. And that is because in Godot, if you want something like, if you want your tile sets to have nav mesh and be able to do like navigation, path queries, that kind of stuff, you actually need to add another node that's called navigation 2D, and you need to put your tile map as a child of navigation 2D node. So something like this. Let's play the game and test again. Now you can actually see there's like a slight yellow or greenish, but that's probably because the tile set is green, covering the grass right here. You can see that there's like something covering the player character. So that is the navigation map, navigation mesh that we have generated. And there isn't any on these boxes because we didn't give them navigation mesh, but they'll have collisions on them. So let's stop the game here. And that's it for this video. We added some tile map and a new tile set, and also the collisions in navigation mesh 2D to that tile set. So in our next video, our player character will be able to query the nav mesh 2D to get a path for it to traverse with. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.